In this video, I'll show you how to create an API key for OpenAI and use it with Node.js. This is Coding with Adam, and let's get to the code. To create an API key, go to openai.com and then scroll to the bottom. At the bottom, you'll find a section called API and click on API Login. Then select API. On the left-hand side menu, we're going to go ahead and find the API keys section. And then within this section, we're able to create a new API key. All we have to do is click on the Create New Secret Key. You can optionally give it a name. I'm going to call this Chat App, and then we'll leave the project as default and click Create Secret Key. The next step is to copy your secret key. As it notes above, store your key somewhere safely. And for security reasons, you won't be able to view it again through your OpenAI account. If you do lose your secret key, you can always delete it and generate a new one. Once you've copied it, go ahead and click the Done button. On this screen, it will list all the API keys that you've created. You can create more than one API key, and each API key can be deleted from this screen. Unfortunately, API usage is not free and requires credits. However, if you're a new user, you may have free credits on your account. To confirm this, you can go over to Settings, click on Billing. Then within the Billing section, you'll be able to see your credit balance. Billing for the API is usage-based, meaning that you pay for the number of tokens. A token is words or parts of words that are processed in your request. If you have a balance of $0, you won't be able to use the API. However, you can add to your credit balance by clicking on this button. The lowest amount that you can add is $5. To learn more about the pricing, we can click on the Model Pricing button. We can scroll down and see for the latest model, GPT-4o, that for 1 million tokens of input, it'll cost us $5. And for 1 million tokens of output, it'll cost us $15. And if you're wondering what a token is, it's going to be the text that we send to the API and the text that we get back from the API. And a token is a unit of text used by the language model, which can be as short as 1 character or as long as 1 word. Now that we have our API key, let's go ahead and write a tiny Node application that will use the API key. For this Node application, I'll be using VS Code. I've opened it in a blank directory called OpenAI API, and we're going to go ahead and use the npm init-y command to initialize our Node project. We'll go ahead and install a couple of dependencies for our application. We're going to need OpenAI and .env. If you like, you can confirm that you've installed the dependencies correctly by opening up your package.json and checking for .env and OpenAI. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add a .env file. We'll add an environment variable called API key, and we're going to make that equal to the API key that you copied earlier from OpenAI. Now, this key that I've added over here is just one that I've made up, but when you paste your key here, make sure not to share it with anybody, as you should keep that private. Next, we'll go ahead and we'll create a file called index.mjs. The reason that we're using the MJS extension is that we'll be using ES6 imports. Another way that you can use ES6 imports without needing MJS is to go into your package.json and put type module, and then by default your project will use ES6 imports, and you can switch from MJS to JS. In our index file, we'll import OpenAI and .env. We're then going to add .env.config. This is going to read the environmental variables from our .env file. Then we'll go ahead and create our OpenAI object. We're going to new up the OpenAI. We're going to pass in the API key, and we'll assign that to process.env.API key, matching the key name from our env file. We'll then send a very simple question using our OpenAI object. The bit of code that we're going to be using is openai.chat.completions.create. We're going to pass in an object. That object is going to contain our message. The message needs a role, and that role is going to be our user. And the content of that message is going to be, what is 5 plus 2? The model that we're going to be using is GPT-4o. We'll then go ahead and console log the response that we get back by using our chat completion and getting the first item in the choices array. We'll then go ahead and execute our application from the terminal by running node index.mjs, and we'll get a response back from the API over here. As you can see, we got back a response from the assistant letting us know that 5 plus 2 is equal to 7. You may notice this depreciation warning for the punycode module. This is a known issue in the OpenAI NPM module. If you want to suppress this error, we can go to the package JSON, and then in this file, we'll go ahead and add an override for what wg-url. This is where the error is actually coming from. Then we can go back and do an npm install, rerun the application, and we'll no longer get that error. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.